Hi everyone, welcome to Eco Learning Classes. This is Professor Geeta Mahesh. Dear students, today we will be discussing with respect to change in taxes with the help of diagram. This is important for 6 months. Okay. So what happens if there is a change in tax? When tax changes, definitely there will be change in aggregate demand. If aggregate demand changes, definitely it will have impact on income of a nation or income and output of a nation. Now let us discuss changes or change in the taxes. Okay. A cut in taxes increases the disposable income at each level of income. See here I have taken income. Income minus tax, we call it as personal disposable income. Personal disposable income is equal to personal income minus personal tax payment, right? For example, if you are earning, that is personal income is 1000 rupees and the tax imposed by government is 200. Okay, now what happens? The left out income is 800, which we call it as disposable income. Now, if your personal disposable income, let me take it personal income minus personal tax payment. Now, you are earning 1000 rupees only, but government is going to reduce the tax from 200 to 100. Now, the personal disposable income is 900. Previously, you are getting disposable income 800. Now you are getting 900. That means your personal disposable income is going to increase as the tax reduces. The tax imposed by government is going to decrease, means the personal disposable income is going to increase. So when you are earning 1000 rupees and tax imposed was 200, that time income is 800. That means you are able to spend only 800. But when the tax rate decreases from 200 to 100, now you are able to get a personal disposable income 900. Previously you are able to spend 800, but now you are able to spend 900. That which means that aggregate demand will shift from C plus I plus G minus T2 upward. Okay, aggregate shift. Okay, so from this, what I told, C plus I plus G plus minus CT to C plus I plus G plus minus CT dash. Okay, so this is going to change. So this is a 45-degree angle, which we call it as income or aggregate supply. What we call it as income or aggregate supply. And these two lines are AD and AD dash. When tax reduces, aggregate demand will shift from AD to AD dash and it shifts upward parallelly. When it shifts upward parallelly, then the equilibrium position will changes from E to E dash. So here you can see, dear students, so previously the tax was T, that means 200. Well, let me take it. So now the tax rate reduces, okay, from 200 to 100. Let just a numerical example. So now what happens? There will be what I can say, that increase in aggregate demand, which is equivalent to the fraction of marginal propensity to consume of decreased tax. See here, decreased tax. So here minus C T dash. T dash we have taken as 100. That means the tax imposed was 200. Now tax imposed is just 100. There is a decrease in tax by 100 into marginal propensity to consume is 0.8, means it will be equal to 80 rupees. So you are going to spend 80 rupees extra when your income increases from 800 to disposable income increases from 800 to 900. So that 100 rupees increase will takes place because of fall in tax. Okay, out of that 100 rupees, if marginal propensity to consume is 0.8, then you are going to spend 80 rupees. So aggregate demand will shift upward by 80 rupees. Okay, so this is what this line states. This shift the aggregate expenditure schedule upward by the fraction of marginal propensity to consume of decrease in taxes. Dear students, we can use a tax multiplier using the same method as for the government expenditure multiplier. See here, the tax multiplier is given. The change in income can be determined by considering the marginal propensity to consume and change in the tax with respect to multiplier. Okay, dear students. So here tax multiplier, you should always remember tax multiplier is a negative multiplier as there will be decrease in the tax. So it is always represented by negative multipliers. That means the tax multiplier is a negative multiplier and government expenditure multiplier is a positive multiplier. Okay. So when you are going to solve this one, that means when you are going to multiply 1 with a minus C, marginal propensity to consume, then you are going to get minus C divided by 1 minus C. Okay, so here we did this change in tax was brought towards what we can say left side. When you bring towards the left side, delta y divided by delta t, you will get a then multiplier into minus marginal propensity to consume. Because a tax cut will cause an increase in consumption and output, or a tax increase will cause us a decrease in the consumption and output. See here, observe, when there is a tax cut, the consumption and output are going to increase when there is a decrease in the tax. And if taxes are going to increase, then there is a decrease in the consumption and output. Because when tax is imposed more, our disposable income is going to decrease. Naturally, our consumption is going to decrease and demand for goods will decreases. Definitely, it will have impact on output. So tax multiplier is a negative multiplier. So comprising equation, you can see delta y divided by delta g is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus c is a government expenditure multiplier. Okay, and if you consider this side, what we have, delta y divided by delta t, that is tax, is equal to minus c divided by 1 minus c is a tax multiplier. So let us discuss this one. So when you make a comparison between tax multiplier and with respect to government spending or expenditure multiplier, so we can say that tax multiplier is smaller in absolute value compared to government spending multiplier. Because what is the reason means, when there is increase in the government expenditure directly affects the total spending, whereas the taxes, okay, enters the multiplier process through their impact on disposable income, which is influence the household consumption. Let me tell, if government is going to, what I told, that government, instead of giving a tax reduction, if government takes that tax amount, and if it is going to spend directly, in that situation we are not going to consider, means it won't go to individuals where they are going to make a savings and all. But when with respect to government, the full amount will be spent by the government, so it will affect it directly. But whereas a tax reduction, when you reduce the tax and that money will go to individuals in the form of disposable income, which will influence the household consumption. Let us assume, by taking a numerical example, let us solve this one. Let us assume that marginal propensity to consume is 0.8. Then expenditure multiplier is 1 divided by 1 minus C is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus 0.8 is equal to 1 divided by 0.2. 1 minus 0.8 is equal to 0.2, which is equal to 5. That means whatever the amount you are going to spend into multiplier, if we impose, you will get a government expenditure, that is a multiplier. Okay, if government increases its expenditure by 100, then the equilibrium income will be increased by 5 into 100 is equal to 500. Okay, clear, by imposing this formula. Okay, so for example, 1 divided by 1 minus C, we got this one by assuming marginal propensity to consume is equal to 0.8. Okay, so this one we are solving here. Okay, 1 divided by 1 minus C is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus C is marginal propensity to consume, and that is 0.8. So 1 divided by 0.2, if you deduct this one, you will get 0.2. So 1 divided by 0.2 is equal to 5. Okay, so here I will put 5. Okay, what is the change that government has made in the expenditure? That is 100. So this is equal to 500. If you consider a tax multiplier, tax multiplier. Okay, if you consider tax multiplier, so what is the equation for tax multiplier? Delta y divided by delta t equals minus c divided by 1 minus c, right, Makla? Now let us substitute to find out the value of tax multiplier. So first let us solve this one, as we assumed a marginal propensity to consume, which we call it as C, okay, is equal to 0.8 we assumed. Okay, so minus 0. Here if we solve this one, minus 0.8 divided by 1 minus 0.8 is equal to minus 0.8 divided by 0.2. 1 minus 0.8 is equal to 0.2, which is equal to minus 4. Okay, now we are going to substitute in this equation. You can see here the delta y divided by delta t is equal to what we assumed, 0 minus 4 we got, right? This we got. Now here, if government is going to reduce tax by 100, tax cut by 100, then the tax multiplier is minus 100. Now what I am going to do, I am going to substitute in the place of delta t, that is minus 100. Okay, now I'm going to make a cross multiplication to find out the equilibrium level of income. Change in equilibrium level of income is equal to minus 4 into minus 100 is equal to 400. Minus into minus plus. Okay, dear students. So this is the multiplier, a tax multiplier. Okay, so tax multiplier increases by 4 times, but expenditure multiplier increases by 5 times, which means the effect of expenditure multiplier is more than that of tax reduction or tax cut. So because of that reason, tax multiplier is smaller in absolute value compared to expenditure or spending multiplier. Clear, Makla? So this is what they are trying to explain. Okay, will be increase in equilibrium income, which is less than the amount by which it increased by government expenditure. Clear? Dear students, if you like, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.